Have you ever come to the realization that animals that move in groups, such as flocks or herds, use that strategy as a defense mechanism to ward off external threats to their well-being? But why is it that in certain cases when men and women use this strategy, it results in their destruction instead of their safety? I welcome you to explore the dangers of crowd thinking and how this perspective destroys your ability to overcome being scammed by a scammer or scammers, which will ultimately hurt your journey towards financial independence. Stay with me till the end and you won't regret it. I have been in business for over 15 years and I have learned a lot and failed also. SAVE-TEY Ventures is a fresh start. Having failed at being successful, I ask that you embark on this journey towards good success with me.
3, 2, 1.
Someone once said that if you can't find those who are well-to-do, financially speaking, in your neighborhood, to give you counsel on how to change your financial state for good, you should seek out someone whose life's financial outcome is obviously bad to learn from. Here's the catch. Don't take their counsel, and you will do well as though you received counsel from a person whose life's financial outcome is desirable. Does this make any sense? Let me know in the comments section. For my international audience, kindly know that I put you into consideration while producing my content. Since Nigeria has been labeled the poverty capital of the world, which means that many can't afford 420 naira, which is the same as approximately 0.25 cents of the United States of America dollars, kindly use my content as a case study in order to ensure that nothing ever brings you to such a level. Our SAVE-TEY POS and its different arms are designed to be a litmus test of the financial well-being of individuals here in Nigeria, which means that if someone can't afford any of our services, then it means that they are in that poverty line of the country and they require to think differently to optimize their financial state. Else, if anything should happen to their current means of income, they would pack down their remote villages, where there's no electricity, well-treated water, and opportunities for prosperity. Let's proceed with our content for today. In episode or part 3, we discussed how the lack of foresight by parents is fundamental to all the chaos we find in this country. If you realize that you are an extension of your parents who were Nigerians before you, even though some of them are dead, that should make you question your thoughts, actions, and the current outcome of your life, especially if it's not desirable financially speaking. This implies that if they taught you how to not be thoughtful, loving, kind, and much more, it's obvious why you will pick up such attitudes. Meanwhile, without blaming them totally, when we consider the ease with which it is to gravitate towards evil, then we should not only hold our parents responsible for the current state of things in our lives and country, but ourselves also. What this entails is that the family unit is our first crowd, which lays the foundation of our thought processes and perspective towards life. It's hard and even impossible to repair a foundation that is faulty. In other words, it's difficult to change the perspectives of an adult, but since we are dealing here with habits and thought patterns with which one can reinvent themselves and their life outcomes, then it's obvious that such faulty foundations can be replaced, and that is what these talks are designed to accomplish in and for you, providing you value that is beyond charging you for our services and letting you go off without the adequate support required to see you thrive afterwards. Realizing that we should love our neighbors as ourselves enables us to be thoughtful, asking why and informing how we treat each other in the ways we do in order to avoid wasting the resources of our neighbors through haste. Else, we become parasites which ought to be paralyzed for true progress to be actualized. Often, Nigerians scam themselves when they hastily follow the crowd, which often leads to waste at the end. Sadly, nobody has reasoned it through to consider learning to be independent in one's decision-making process to avoid falling into the ditch which such a crowd provides. The crowd is always in a haste, often depending on the decision-making process of a few whom they see as their leaders, without giving members of the crowd the time necessary to question their thought patterns and the end result proposed. With the recent cry by certain personalities over the years for them to have their independent states, I realized that their efforts were designed to make everyone unite in thinking towards a common threat. But from retrospect, when crowd thinking that had been practiced the first time towards uniting against a common threat led to the loss of millions of lives, and another crowd thinking is being aroused to lead to the same direction while claiming to not repeat the mistakes of the past and to deliver on other set of promises, then it's important to learn how to be mentally strong and self-independent as an individual to be able to question different thought patterns that are presented to us before choosing to proceed with them or not. In previous episodes, I educated you to follow a similar approach towards ensuring that you are never caught in a scam situation, since without the process that has been suggested, you will end up scamming yourself. I encourage you to watch the entirety of this series to have a thorough understanding of what is being presented to you. In times past, there have been stampedes in this country when crowds gathered to receive certain aids for their well-being. I have even witnessed a stampede myself, and all I can say is that the crowd is selfish and you don't matter as a member. If you don't have systems in place to ensure that you never fall down as an individual in that crowd, it means that you will be stepped upon to your death by the same crowd that you joined on such an adventure. It's a scam to yourself by yourself through the crowd to participate in their activities. It's best to break out of the crowd and their mentalities in order to be safe. Hence, SAVE-TEY Ventures, the crowd with their thinking that leads to waste. Even yours, being plagued by haste, don't love you at all. Don't ever forget that. After a 1-minute silence for you, your memory is closed. Furthermore, desiring to employ the services of an organization without thinking critically about their offers in order to match it with your financial capacity is to disdain and devalue them and ourselves too, having employed the crowd thinking that creates and multiplies poverty as received from previous generations. We need to sit with ourselves in order to think of the various ways we practice crowd thinking and the scam mindsets in them to find how it leads us to wasting the resources of other people and ours in this country so that true prosperity can be born and sustained. Realize that haste is just selfishness in motion, and we need to stop this motion that paralyzes our personal and collective well-being. So, when you consider through our opening thought that animals use their grouping abilities to protect themselves so that no lives are lost, does it then mean that animals are better off than those who ought to be better-minded in order to rule over them? We've brought this episode to your mental radar to aid you count the long-term cost of the crowds that you associate yourself with and the return on investment associated with doing business with them so that you will not see shame. In the context of SAVE-TEY Ventures and Clarify, through this series you can see that associating with us in order to adopt the mindsets which we propagate towards doing life and business differently brings you into our crowd where you are deeply valued. So, realize that choosing to employ our services requires that you think differently to ensure that our teamwork will bear the right fruits, seeing that you will be making expenses to access our services. Our crowd and its thought patterns ensures the safe future of your business transactions towards financial independence, thereby creating a true crowd thinking that is void of selfishness in order to bring protection to those who adopt this mindset that we propagate. Know that true change with positive results begins in the mind, and considering that what you are coming to us for is to drive results for your purposeful economic endeavors, it requires that you adopt our mindset so that you will see differently, in order to be set up for good success as our brand promises. As hinted in the last episode, Clarify helps you to know the cost of obtaining our services and helping you through our gradual pay feature to be able to provide for it where you financial capacity can carry to make bulk payments. We recommend that you visit our website to learn more about this feature. In the first episode, we shared the financial costs to obtain the second 1-hour consultation session with us, where we provide you with the solutions to the challenges we will uncover in the first 1-hour session that are of no monetary cost to you. So, kindly find links to it in the description to learn about it. I believe that you've received so much value since beginning this series of talks, and do know that we are coming to its close where you will receive your questionnaire to be admitted into the first part of the Clarify session. We welcome you into a new way of thinking that drives realistic and sustainable results where our crowd is designed to protect itself, where every life and blood and breath matters. In this crowd, nobody is scammed and we scam no one. A true symbiotic relationship is enabled in our community. If you are new here, kindly get in touch with us via the comments section and we'll be glad to respond. Thanks for being with us till the end of this episode. We love you, royalty, and we'll continue in the next episode.